Hey everybody, we're back at it again. Happy to see ya. Hopefully y'all can pop in a quick minute. I don't know how long I'll be able to be on here this evening. I do have things to do. I hope that y'all aren't too busy, and I do should schedule these out again. I keep saying I'll do that, but I need to get myself up in the morning, remind myself to remind you that I do lives. But if you watch my channel, you probably already know that I'm on here 6 p.m. Central, Fridays and Saturdays. But in the future, I might not do the Fridays anymore. Let me know if y'all want to see this much of me. If you do want to see me still on Fridays, both Friday and Saturday, I might reduce it to just Saturdays. And I don't know how often I'll do these lives. But my fragrance friends, how have y'all been doing? Anything new in your world? Anything new in y'all's side of the fragrance life? I don't know. Somebody else might be doing a live. And if that ever happens, I also want to say that I don't mean anything by it. So happy to see people popping in. Hey, two wonderful people. What's your scent of the day? What are y'all wearing? I wore a De Aroma by Primera Fragrances. I did a review, kind of a written review on Instagram, and I'll be actually getting a review out of that and more normal content. I know that y'all probably are awfully tired of indie fragrances. I do have more to share, but I will be sharing more of things I've actually bought, things I've showed y'all hauls of in the past that I just haven't reviewed yet. I kind of get in the attitude like I like to do things as they come in. So I'm not even a big giant reviewer. I mean, I can't imagine what it's like for some of these giant reviewers. But I've been backlogged, and I'm about done with the Devona fragrances. I have one more fragrance I'm going to show tomorrow. Post my review, and I'm actually gonna do quite a few reviews tomorrow of normal content that y'all probably are looking more forward to, and something that you probably be more optimistic about. So, uh, hey there, ECW Son 13. I'm wearing Shalimar, Way D Cologne. Is that a flanker of Shalimar? I'm not. If that is, I'm not familiar with that one. But Way of the Cologne, if that's what you're talking about, yes. And I hope that y'all like my little dilly dally joke. I could not even know what the meaning of the word is, but I always thought that it meant kind of like wasting time, or there's another word called piddle, which is kind of the same thing, kind of like wasting time and just doing small movements and acting like you're working, and you're not. So I guess we're dilly dallying, just taking a little bit of time to just relax. So. The Eau de Cologne. I don't know if I've tried that one. I've tried the O version. Is that the same thing? The Shalimar, the souffle. I don't think it's the souffle, but that one's really charming. The souffle EDP, and I can't remember. There's another one. It might be that one. I can't remember its name, but there was a citrusy version, but it still had some vanilla to it, and quite lovely stuff. So. Yeah, I like the Souffle EDP. Very charming, seductive fragrance. Almost has a little bit of that dark berry feel and that very almost like powdery vanilla. It doesn't really smell a lot like the original. I don't know. I need to give Shalimar another chance. I know it's a beautiful fragrance. I know it's masterfully done, but I don't know if I could wear it. I need to revisit it and see if I feel comfortable with wearing it now. We'll have to see if it's grown on me. So. Evening scent of the day is for Saucy Hawass. Fantastic choice. I love the La Yucawan, but I do need to try some more. I have my eye on that fragrance they have called Ambergris Showers. I read some reviews where some people said it was like possibly dry or bitter, like slightly green, maybe slightly medicinal, green medicinal thing. So I haven't blind bought it, but I am tempted because you know, I love La Yucawan. I think it's amazing the price. I mean, the value for what you're getting, and I'm kind of optimistic about that one. So I need to get my hands on another Rasasi. But do you recommend that one, that Hawass? I've heard good things. Yes, it's a bit feminine, but I find it's scent peaceful. Absolutely, and always wear what you love. Again, sometimes I talk about my personal experience, and that's what my channel is about. I do try to be a reviewer and a critic, but I do try to give you all a little bit of my personal side. But of course, if you feel comfortable, if anybody feels comfortable with anything, of course, wear what makes you happy, man, and more power to you. Some people would actually say that you're more brave than me. There have been scents that I find beautiful, but I just didn't feel appropriate for myself. Things like, if I and things that I would kind of prefer on a lady. I'm not saying that one exactly. That one is kind of unisex. I think it was originally made for ladies, but there's a number of fragrances. I think Jackie might have been also originally made, if that's how you say it. I don't even know. But I think that one also might be made for women. But these days, I think it'd be very unisex to the average person, and I think the average person these days might even consider it more masculine because of the oak moss. So, hi, my scent today is Kenzo Jungle. I love the Kenzo Jungle. Do you have the elephant, or do you have the jungle? And more power to you if you wear the jungle. But I think the jungle is more of. I think it was marketed more towards the men, and the Kenzo elephant was kind of the. It didn't go by the same name. It for some reason they didn't make an elephant for men. They kind of made it jungle for men, and the elephant they switched it up and they made a little the bottle a little bit fancier, and called it elephant for the ladies. I don't know exactly why. I guess men are wild in the jungle, and the ladies want to ride the elephant. I don't know what they thought there, but I love jungle. It's I love the mate. It's a beautiful mate kind of aromatic fragrance. It's a very unique fresh scent, and it's still affordable. I haven't tried the reformulated. Honestly, I went straight for blind buying a vintage bottle with the original packaging with the purple on the front, and it's not highly hyped, and I guess not super desirable. So I got it for about 40, 49 or $50 shipped to my door for the full size bottle, which is amazing. And the supply of that will probably dry up eventually. I don't know how influential I am, but when I talk about it, people might buy into it. It's a mate tea fragrance, so it's got like this almost like caffeine, almost like drug like energetic quality, some aromatic kind of like nondescript citrus, and it has that very clean, sheer, like it's not a musk, it's more of the animalic feel, but it's that animalic vibe that acts like a musk. You all know that animalics can have all kinds of qualities. They can be sweet, they can be furry, they can be very aggressive in different ways. But that one's definitely more clean, but also sharp and kind of approaching the piercing territory. So I do find it fascinating. Um, I have La Yucawam, Ronald says, and it in my watch list. Just waiting for a decant deal. Hawas is great. Bought it after the recommendations from Medi. It's lasts very long, and it's quite similar to Invictus 2016. Absolutely. And a lot of guys really still like that 2016. There was an awful lot of hype, and I mean an awful lot of hype behind that Invictus Aqua 2016. It was at least 6 months, maybe even a year, and it was one of the biggest fragrances. I'm drawing a blank right now, but there was a might have been so influential and might have really created the hype. I'm trying to remember his name. I can't remember, but it's one of those videos where you got your girlfriend on the video, and she said it was outstanding and it had really good performance, so that kind of hyped it up a bit. So yeah, a lot of guys saw that video. It's pretty popular. It was like a top 10, and she chose it as the winner, and then people started really talking about it. So I gotta try that Hawas. I gotta see what that one's all about. I'm not. I do understand the popularity behind the Invictus DNA, and I respect it. I actually wore Invictus. Thunderstorms rolling in. Can y'all hear that? But guys, Invictus is a great fragrance. I wore it at college. I enjoyed it. It got me positive attention, and I wore it in my early 20s. But I kind of outgrew it. I don't know if I could go back to that DNA, but I do respect it, and it is a big compliment getter, and it has a lot of performance. So I do try to mention that fragrance sometimes, but I know that the niche heads and the people who are the connoisseurs don't appreciate that, just like they don't appreciate Sauvage. So I try to keep things balanced, y'all know. So let's see here. Gina says, Carton, I went with Jungle Eau de Parfum. I like the animalic quality. Yeah, absolutely. It's a very almost like dry, clean, sharp animalic vibe. I haven't, I don't think encountered anything like it before. and and I have a hard time with animalics. There's very few fragrances that I can deal with, or I have enjoyed that have animalic qualities. I have some ouds that have a tiny bit of it, but they're more gourmand ouds. Like my 24 Gold Oud Edition by Scent Story perhaps has a little bit of animalic. Of course, the Jungle, I have that one just like you do. And the Vintage by Kenzo, I have Ember del Sur by Carner Barcelona. I would like to have a bottle of Parfums de Marly Leighton Exclusive, which has some animalic to it. But I don't go for heavyweight animalics. I've never been able to do that. And I respect Yatagan. I do think that one's a little bit daring, but Yatagan is pretty darn good stuff. Fragrance Anatomy, happy to see you. Hello, my friend. How's it going today? What's your scent of the day? Hopefully, I won't be ran off here, but I don't know if y'all can hear that. There's like this rumbling sound, this punch. There's definitely a thunderstorm rolling in. So, let's see here. Rich Mitch says, I got Cure de Russie today, EDT. Fantastic. What do you think about it? I've heard really good things. I don't remember if I've tried that one or not. I know that I've heard about it so many times. So many good things about it. It's almost like one of those fragrances. It's not as popular as Andy Towers' Law of the Desert Marocaine. I can never say it right, but it's one of those fragrances that's almost as popular, or has that mystique that everybody kind of needs to try. So, Gina says, I lean towards a lot of unisex and masculine scents versus feminine. Well, more power to you. And I think a lot of ladies do really appreciate aquatic fragrances. And I think maybe I shouldn't give all my secrets. Again, I should keep everything I know to myself before I start my brand. But y'all know I'm a fragrance reviewer and I'm passionate, so I tell y'all little snippets. But I've encountered a lot of ladies. I've watched plenty of videos, and I talk to ladies, and I always love when if I go to the malls, especially if I was in a big city and boutique, I would go all the time. But I love to ask the people who actually work there. And again, sometimes you can be that person when you walk into a boutique or a mall, and you can be like, well, I know more than you. A lot of y'all are probably that smart enough, and y'all probably confidently can think that. But it's still always good because they deal with the customer, even though they might not know the notes or how the fragrances are composed, or the history, or maybe some of the details with the perfumers, as much as some of you very smart people do. It's still wonderful to ask them all the questions about like what's selling, what are people liking, what do you think about these trends, what do people ask you? You know, you talk to hundreds, if not thousands, of people. What do people ask you? Like, what are they looking for in a fragrance? What do they want? What are the details? And it's wonderful to, have a fun conversation with those good people. And it's always really nice to, impress them. And they might tell you something that could kind of correct you. And, you might have a misconception. I've had that a couple times too. And they've kind of helped me, realize that I was perhaps had some misconceptions too. So. Let's see here, but more power to you. I was going to say my little secret was that a lot of ladies do like aquatic fragrances, and there are things like Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, and there's a few flankers of that for ladies, but a lot of the fragrances, especially in the designer world, are fruity florals, maybe something a little bit aldehydic, lots of roses, and lots of very, very sweet things. And a lot of ladies really like citrus. A lot of ladies really like fresh fragrances. And why not make something that is really fresh and maybe has a tiny bit of powder to it, maybe is a little bit more soft, but still, not very sweet, or not, more on that unisex line. And I think that's one reason the Guerlain's Aqua Allegoria line was so popular. They have a couple of them, 2, 3, maybe maybe a couple more, to some people's opinion, that are really unisex leaning. I love the Lemon Verde. I have that one, and I do need to get my review out of that fragrance. And that one's really stunning. And in the high heat, if you rush to get it, maybe you'll be able to enjoy it in the high heat. But really good stuff. Fragrance Anatomy said, hopefully that I'm definitely supporting you. Hopefully I was clear about that, Gina. Fragrance Anatomy says, scent of the day is Amouage Lyric Man. I need to revisit Lyric Man. I do really respect the House of Amouage, but I do respect and understand where a lot of people come from. About I don't know, 50% or maybe more of the comments I hear and see with people in fragrance groups and other places, I see people talk about how amouage is daring, and amouage is too much for them, and they cannot understand or they cannot wear amouage fragrances. I've been into the hobby a little bit, and see, this is another point of like misconceptions, and I think that's an important discussion that maybe other fragrance reviewers need to have. I've been deep into this hobby, and it's good to keep perspective because I think amouage fragrances are perhaps a little bit challenging, but I still, for me personally, find most of them very wearable. I could wear most of them pretty comfortably in most situations. And even though I do have my favorites, I love Jubilation 25. I love Myths Man, and I really want to try Portrayal Man. And there's another new one. They actually released the names of quite a few new releases. Uh, I'm really excited about. So there's like three, four, five of their fragrances I am dying to try. But I do realize that besides Reflection Man, I still think Reflection Man is easy to wear. I'm not gonna back down on my opinion of Reflection Man. I think just about any man could feel comfortable wearing that to a business job interview, to your workplace if you're a businessman, or to a wedding or a special occasion. I don't think Reflection Man is too hard to understand, but I understand where the other ones could be daring, and they are potent. So if you're custom, or perhaps you like things that aren't really going to shout or demand attention, amouages are potent. And if somebody is used to putting on 10 sprays of a eau de cologne fragrance that only lasts them 6 hours, you could definitely overdo it with an amouage. They're potent. So I feel you there. But anyways, amouage, good house. Y'all know about that. So what does Encre Noir compare to? Encre Noir, kind of a unique fragrance. There's not a lot of fragrances that smell too similar to Encre Noir. It is known as a vetiver fragrance, and it is a vetiver fragrance, but I would describe it, and if I was to mention that fragrance to anybody, I would say it smells more like ink than anything. There is vetiver. You can notice the vetiver, and the inkiness is coming from that, that quality of the vetiver, and it is a kind of a dark, mysterious. Some people might get some smoky nuances out of it, but to me, it truly smells like a lot of ink. And there's not a lot of fragrances that really come off as sharp and like dark and mysterious. There's only a few of them that I can think of off the top of my head. One of them is John Varvatos' Dark Rebel. It doesn't smell exactly the same. And to me, it smells almost more like a dark, salty licorice quality, but it almost approaches that inkiness. So it is also fairly affordable. It is getting hard to get. I thought that John Varvatos went bankrupt. I'm not sure if somehow they managed their finances and got back on track, or I don't know if John Varvatos was bought out. I really don't know the details, but they did put out or announce a newer release fairly recently, so that's some good news. But we'll have to see what happens with that house in the future. But Dark Rebel is certainly one to check out if you love Encre Noir. And also if you love Encre Noir, you might want to try out Squid by Zoologist. Squid, if y'all don't know, is a aquatic fragrance that also has inkiness in the dry down. So it's fresh, it's a little bit, tiny bit salty, and aquatic, and also has this inkiness. And some people really like it. It's not something that I connect to at all. It's not a fragrance that I personally enjoy wearing, but some people really like it, and it still is outstanding quality. Also, if you love the Encre Noir, you probably already know, but they do have flankers. There's a fresh version, and which is a little bit aquatic as well. And there is a la extreme version, which has some patchouli, some boozy qualities added to it, and it has some sweetness in there. So me personally, if I do recommend any of the three, I usually personally recommend the a la extreme, because if you're a gentleman out there, if you're a guy who wants, Encre Noir is great, and so is the sport version. It's actually a good sport flanker. It's not a bad, hokey, gimmicky sport version. I think they should name it something else. But the Encre Noir a la extreme has the richness, it has the booziness, it has a little bit of sweetness, not too much. and it still has some of that inkiness. So I think it's an outstanding fragrance. And if you like things like M7 Absolute, also check out the A La Extreme. It's a fantastic quality juice. Again, when you can get it for 35 odd dollars, it is more on the daring side. It kind of is a niche fragrance because it's more unusual to so many people. So take that into consideration. But there's no doubt that I mean, all three of those fragrances are great. You could also check out Wonder Oud by Comme des Garçons. It is not a scary oud. It's more on the synthetic, dark, almost incensey type of oud side. I don't know exactly what synthetic does that, but it is almost like oud for greatness, but even stronger. Again, I don't want to beat up on people, and we all have our opinions as fellow fragrance reviewers. But when I smelled oud for greatness, especially, I shouldn't have listened to any of the hype, and I tried to avoid videos on fragrances. At least watching multiple videos of something that I haven't reviewed yet, but it was so popular, it was so hyped, and I smelled that fragrance, Oud for Greatness, and to me, it wasn't really strong. I mean, it does have a presence, and it does last fairly long, but it's not a projection monster like people were acting out. It's more of an average projection on my skin, and to me, it was completely boring. So Wonder Oud is a little bit more sharp, has a little bit more character. It's a little bit perhaps on the inky side, not exactly, but it could work for you if you like inkiness. So Wonder Oud by Comme des Garçons, really good stuff. But anyways, let's get back to some of the questions. Hopefully that helped you, Led. That's the best I can do. You could also go to Fragrantica and search notes and type in ink and see what you could figure out through Fragrantica as well. That's always an option if y'all are looking for anything with a certain note. So Fragrance Anatomy says it's a great masculine rose. Yeah, Lyric. I do remember it having rose, but I don't remember really anything else. But yeah, that sounds good. I don't know why. I kind of like Mistman a little bit more. It's kind of dry and ashy, and I don't know. It's kind of like a vampire smell. I kind of like Mistman. But I do, Lyric Man, you can't go wrong with an Amouage, especially if you get it on sale for like 150 bucks. You can't go wrong, at least in my opinion. So, Fragrance Journey, hey my friend, how you doing? Happy to see you pop in. Encre Noir is similar to Dior Sycamore to me. I have heard people say that and give that explanation. Although I do understand that they have a similar feeling, I feel like they're completely different fragrances, but they do have a similar vibe in how they're composed. And that's one of those things that is kind of hard to explain to some people. When some people just say it's similar, and when I think similar, I think that's actually pretty close. I'm not sure. I'm sure you meant the best. I'm not criticizing New Fragrance Journey. I'm just saying that I've seen some reviewers and some, with how we use words. To me, similar and having a similar feel in the composition is very different. So completely different notes to my nose, but they do feel somewhat similar. Sycamore is more fresh. It's a little bit more green. It's almost, to me, more of like a cypress kind of fragrance more than anything. And but it does have some of the same feeling and how the notes kind of like rise in as the fragrance goes along, and how the fragrance kind of makes you feel. It is oddly similar, and I don't know how they exactly did that. Maybe they have an algorithm, and even though they use different notes, they punched it in the machine and with different notes, but it's the same exact composition. I don't know if that's true, but it kind of feels that way, which is really fascinating. So, smells like an ink or pencil shavings. Yeah, exactly. Encre Noir does, and the Sycamore does smell a little bit more pencil shaving like. It does have definitely has some of those wood molecules in the dry down too. So, love scary ouds. I respect that Fragrance Journey. You are into the scary ouds, and I respect that. I don't think I actually don't know how risky it is, and I do want to keep it for a surprise reveal. But y'all are the loyal fragrance viewers. Y'all are the loyal people. Y'all are the fan club, or the just loyal fragrance family. So I'll tell y'all, and I don't know if you smell this one, Fragrance Journey. It's and it might be too daring for me. We'll have to see what I've got myself into. But I saw the notes when I got early into my Fragrance Journey, or somewhat early. I'd been researching, and I came across this fragrance, and it was so expensive, at least at that time. And and it was something that I never thought I could have, and I eventually found it on a good sale. I found an amazing price on it. I won the bid. I sniped it, the last couple seconds on eBay fighting somebody over it, and I got it for about half the retail price. And it's just been sprayed, just maybe 1 mil out of the 100. It's Garuda by Matt et Lin, I think is how you say it. I think that's how you say it. Anyways, it's called Garuda, Garuda, I believe is how you spell it. And supposedly it's their oud fragrance of their collection, but I'm hoping it's more of a boozy fragrance. I'm hoping that it's more of a woody, boozy fragrance, and that it will help me smell like a pirate, because I love those fragrances that have that kind of bold, unapologetic, boozy qualities to them. So, well, hopefully it's not too scary, eh? But that'll be fun to check out. But you'll have to, what have you been trying, Fragrance Journey? Anything new, anything fun on your radar? To everybody, of course, share what you've been sampling. Share your scent of the day, or whatever you want to say. So, Fragrance Anonymous says John Varvatos have a new fragrance coming out. 20 years. That's the one I was talking about. Exactly. That's the one they've announced. I heard that some people have actually already got their bottles or about to. I don't know if these guys get it on pre-order, or I don't know. They're fast to the trigger. I don't blind buy fragrances, and although I do respect John Varvatos as a house, they often hit discounters. And the reason I really mentioned John Varvatos is because they're discounted so heavily for $30, sometimes less. And they're great values for that. It's like, I personally would not pay full retail for John Varvatos. If I didn't have the option to buy Dark Rebel Rider on sale, I probably wouldn't pay $80 for Dark Rebel Rider, even though I really like it. I wouldn't pay $80 for it. Vintage, I might be convinced to buy Vintage for $80 if I didn't have the option to get it on sale and there wasn't a way to get it any cheaper. I do like Vintage a lot, but I don't know. We're all of certainly different opinions. So, nose notes. Is that flashing some money? Yeah, it's too expensive for my taste. I said it was. I think I did say it was 100 mil a second ago. It's a 50 mil, and I got it for about 100. So full retails like about $200 or so. Of course, with some more tax for 50 mils. So price per bottle, whatever, is essentially a $400 bottle for 100 mils. So that's expensive. That's a lot of money for that juice. So heard great things about Garuda. Never smelled it. It was one of those fragrances when I looked at the notes and I read a little bit about the story, it just clicked in my mind, and I said, I need that fragrance. I need that one. It's something that I need in my collection. So yeah, Garuda is beautiful stuff, but it is special. Some of these fragrances aren't too easy to get, and they're expensive, and you have to order them online, and it's a big hassle. If you live outside of a big city, it can be annoying. But luckily, we still have the internet, even in these crazy times. Sorry, the dogs are being rambunctious. Fragrance Anonymous says John Varvatos has launched John Varvatos XX, a new woody oriental fragrance for men. XX marks the brand's 20th anniversary and celebrates 20 years of style and music. I didn't know that they were connected to music. I think I've heard that they have a fashion house, or they are a fashion house, but I didn't know that they were connected too much to music. I'll have to look into that. Maybe there's some John Varvatos music I'm not aware of. Who knows? Maybe we'll be chilling to John Varvatos music, my friends. Who knows? Or maybe they just commission people. Maybe that's them claiming a lot of stuff because of trying to get popular and trying to get connected to all that. What's their names? Like the Jonas stuff. That line, that was kind of ridiculous. Anyways, I've been sampling some great stuff lately. Francesca Bianchi, Arish Lador. Oh, fantastic! That's beautiful stuff right there. A little bit daring for somebody who's not, hasn't, maybe coming from the designer world. Even if you've tried some niche, those are perhaps a little bit daring. Francesca Bianchi's definitely loves and has a taste for the animalics. But I can deal with some of those animalics. I definitely one day will have a bottle of the dark side, and I'm tempted to get Etruscan Waters. If I had a lady around, the Lover's Tale is also quite good. So there's a number of pretty good releases, I think, and I like Lost in Heaven as well. Lost in Heaven and The Dark Side were two personal favorites, probably from that house. Which ones did you like? Nose, nose, no notes. And if y'all don't know, again, I do try to give shouts. Again, shout to Fragrance Journey and anybody who's a reviewer. Let me know. I think Fragrance Anatomy, you're an awesome guy too. But if y'all don't know, Nose Nose No Notes is a big Instagrammer in the fragrance world. He's actually a pretty big dude. So if you've never seen this guy around in the YouTube scene, he's actually a pretty big guy. Check him out, give him some support, and he has tried. He started to dive into the YouTube fragrance world just a little bit too. So cool guy, give him some love. You can't fix says I don't. Again, I don't even know if I can say your whole name. And again, I actually got flagged last week. I don't even know what I said. I am completely PG. Some of y'all actually have made jokes at my expense. So other fragrance reviewers, I know what you're saying. I see what some of you guys are saying, and I keep it PG. I keep it family friendly around here, and I got flagged. So I got like limited exposure, and y'all, you know that through monetization. Also, if you are monetized, YouTube promotes you a little bit more. That's another reason why you do want to be monetized if you're a fragrance reviewer or just anybody on YouTube. But also, if you get flagged, it means that they don't think your content's particularly appropriate one way or another. And I'm like, I'm a guy sitting in here in front of the camera, and I didn't say anything. Well, who knows? So hopefully nothing will happen this time. So and I kind of I worry about that stuff. So, but see, hey Ben, if you only had one fragrance to wear year round, what would it be? I don't like questions like that. Y'all know that. I have so many fragrances, and even though I don't have a giant collection, I have no intention of owning 1,000 fragrances, and more power to the collectors. But I have no intention of owning 1,000. But the thing is, I don't want to stick to one fragrance. But if I had to stick with one thing, a fragrance that always makes me happy, I think fits for every situation, a fragrance that I want to strive to be able to wear that fragrance and feel how that, be the type of man or the person that fragrance really suits. A fragrance that I just can't, I want to smell all the time, every day, and it has great performance, and again, it has to be fairly versatile for all seasons. It's going to be Amouage Jubilation 25. Y'all know how much I like that fragrance. I made a video calling it the real king of the fragrance niche game because I think it deserves that status. Again, being, fragrance is highly subjective. There doesn't really need to be winner or a loser. Some fragrances perhaps are better composed. Some fragrances perhaps are better values than others. But is there a fragrance that's truly the best? It's there's a reason why there's 1,001 products of anything. Y'all know that I joke about cars, but just about anything in the world. But if I had to choose one that I would like to wear, and I would like to be remembered by as a signature scent, which y'all know I really don't do signature scents, but it would have to be Jubilation 25 by Amouage. It's truly a special fragrance. I could wear it. It's strong enough to go through the winter. It's it's not overbearing, and it's if I go easy on the trigger in the summer, it smells royal, fancy. It has all kinds of complexity. It's always interesting. It's masterfully composed. Jubilation 25 is the sauce, in my opinion. So, and it gets positive attention too. My dad actually was wearing it one time, a little bit on his hand. He was testing it, and he went to through a drive-through, picked up some food, and he just had a tiny bit on his hand, and he couldn't actually smell it anymore. He's one of those guys that has a very bad tendency to stick testers and fragrances straight up into his nose and goes nose blind very quickly. But this person could smell it from feet away, and they were actually shocked and they were blown away. And I've gotten some reactions like that from Jubilation 25. It's impressive juice. It's impressive. So, Fragrance Anatomy says also they're coming out with a Creed Aventus tint. I did see a post about that. I don't really like anniversary editions unless it's like, I don't know, a fancier bottle or a giant bottle. If it's just the same fragrance, I mean, I guess if you're a fan of the brand or a big Aventus fan, that might mean something to you. But I have absolutely no interest in just a little bit of a different Aventus bottle, unless you're buying it to invest it so you can sell it in 5 years when it becomes vintage and desirable, and you have one of only I don't know 10,000 bottles of the anniversary edition, and somebody will jack up the price. Yeah, I just have no interest in that, but more power to the people who do. Nice. The dark side is on my sampling list. Absolutely. Got to try that one out. So it's really, really good. The dark side is an amber lover's delight, and I have a hard sometimes have a hard time with amber. So you know you got yourself into a good fragrance if with that got yourself a good one, a good amber. So I've only tried Sticky Fingers and Under My Skin. You gotta try the others. There's quite a good few releases. Under again, they're so good. Check out Francesca Bianchi if y'all can deal with a little bit of animalics in your fragrances. Wonderful House. The fragrances are only about maybe a little over $100. They're not terribly expensive, but they are 30 mils. So for 100, 100 mils or whatever, the full size bottle. They essentially are $300 fragrances, but you get them in smaller pieces, a smaller amount, and that makes it a little bit more affordable. So, or at least it's in bite size, and they're very potent. They're like extracts, so you don't need a lot of that juice. You really don't. So, see here, yeah, dying. Sticky Fingers. Yeah, my YouTube is dying out, lol. Not sure if I'm going to continue. I think the Instagram. Yeah, I personally like the Instagram scene a little bit more too. I connect to it. People on Instagram are definitely more interested into indie and niche fragrances. Um, YouTube is a search algorithm. YouTube is all about getting the clicks. So if you review less popular stuff, it's going to rank you and then position you, and it'll kind of stick you. Especially if you do it for a long while, like my channel reviewing indie stuff. I don't think I can get my channel out of the gutter, and I've never intended to be a super popular channel, anyways. But I don't think I'll be able to ever get my channel to have star status, stardom like that. So, but yeah, Instagram definitely. There's more, I guess, pure or people who I guess it's easier for people to connect and become friends, and I don't know. YouTube is a whole funny different world. So, Nose No Note says agree. Jubilation 25 is top three of everything that I've smelled. Alongside, well, I'm really bad with abbreviations. But remind me what PQAL is. I'm sorry, I'm so bad with abbreviations. And Sahara. Do you mean Sahara? Okay, I've seen that bottle on Instagram. I haven't tried that one yet, but I gotta try. I almost thought Sahara Noir from Tom Ford, because I was talking to a friend recently and he was telling me about how some people are charging as much as $500 for a bottle of Sahara Noir from Tom Ford when it retailed for only like 100 or 120 bucks. So it's that's kind of outrageous, but it's crazy. So I find that blue fragrances can be worn all year long. Yeah, blue fragrances are very versatile. You're very right about that. Bleu de Chanel, Dylan Blue, White EDP, Sauvage. Not a fan of blue fragrances though. I feel the same way. Blue fragrances always seem to work in every situation. Some of them aren't really strong enough per se to be strong for the winter, but if you're indoors, if you're around family, the holidays, and that kind of stuff, they're potent enough. But they really don't stand up to the cold. Most of them terribly well, but you can overspray them to kind of help with that. But yeah, blue fragrances are very, very versatile, and I do like the Bleu de Chanel EDP. I don't know if I would ever buy it, especially for the price. I entered a giveaway. I wanted to win. I guess I didn't win, but I hope that maybe one day I can get a bottle. I would enjoy that. So, Creed Aventus 10th Anniversary Edition bottle looks tacky. I don't think it looks into anything particular, but even it's particularly special. But even if it was really, really special, I personally couldn't pay that kind of money. And I'm not a big Aventus fanboy. I have some clones in the odds and ends, but I'm not. Y'all know that me. I like to smell different and unique. I do appreciate the smell of Aventus, but I've never been head over heels in love with it. I have smelled like a couple really good batches, some of the earlier batches. of Creed, but it's so expensive. So even if I had a bottle, which again, when I show those bottles, those are my dad's. He's super into Creed Aventus. He's a super big collector. I I feel guilty wearing it because it's so expensive. I could, for the price of that bottle being, some of them are over $1,000. You could have tons of clones. You could have a whole collection for just that one bottle. It smells awful good, but does it smell $1,000 good? No, and I'd rather let somebody else enjoy it. If I had a bottle for that kind of price. So, um, yeah, I'm just not too much into the vintage scene. I like uh, for casual wear, just laid back kind of wear. I really do like what's that fragrance called? It's by Tommy Bahama. I've talked about it quite a few times. It has starfruit in it, in the purple bottle. It's why is it not coming to me? It's not St. Bart's. It's St. Kitts. That's the one. St. Kitts. That's a really nice fragrance. It's not the same as a Ventus, but it might be interesting and fun, and also give you something somewhat similar to a pineapple vibe. So that might be fun to try out. I also really do like Napoleon Cologne, which is supposed to be more like a Ventus cologne, but I think it's an improvement upon the DNA, and it adds mint. So y'all know I really like mint in the DNA. So check out Zoha's Napoleon Cologne. That's my personal favorite Aventus style fragrance on the market right now, especially for the price. People really like Parfum's Vintage, or Pineapple Vintage, as some people used to call it. I'm not a super big fan, but the brand's not bad. You might find one of their many Aventus clones that you really like. I have no affiliation with them whatsoever, if y'all are curious. So, I also think they're coming out with a flanker bottle of Versace's Dylan Blue. I would actually want to see that. Dylan Blue is probably a real big top seller, and Versace Dylan Blue, I would like to see a noir version. If they add some, make it a little bit leathery, if they make it darker, if they make it more intense, I might have to get myself that fragrance, because Dylan Blue is a solid fragrance. I think that the Bleu de Chanel EDP, and the Bleu de Chanel EDP are probably the best blue fragrances out of the bunch. I'm not crazy about any of the other ones. I do respect them for what they are, but I've just never been crazy about them. I do wish that Elysium, and I still consider Elysium a little bit in that blue category. Again, to me, it smells a little bit like Bleu de Chanel, EDT perhaps, and the top perhaps a little bit inspired by Ventus with that fruity vibe. To me, it kind of was that fusion fragrance. And again, I'll say it again. Some people didn't like my opinion, but I felt like it was kind of one of the first fusion kind of fragrances out of the bunch, and perhaps started all the popularity of these fusion style fragrances that are coming on. So, are going about, especially with like Dua. So that one's really mass appealing, Elysium by Roja, but I wish it projected better, and it's not. I just don't connect with it. You got to connect with a fragrance, especially for the price, to be willing to pay so much money for it. So, anyways, y'all got me thinking about some good, important thoughts. POAL is Portrait of a Lady. Oh, absolutely. Very well composed, very well done fragrance. It's a really good juice. Don't get me wrong, and I mean no insult by it, but I do find it's unisex. A lot of guys talk about it and they like it, and I don't want people to get the misinterpretation that it's for men. I think it was originally marketed towards ladies, but I'm not saying it's feminine. I'm saying that it's unisex. So ladies, definitely check out that fragrance. It's definitely a really good one. If you like, I guess I would say a really nice, well composed. To me, it has like a really good powder. It's a really unique, full-bodied, kind of like powdery feel to the fragrance. It's almost like they made it a very good, well composed, almost like a bubble of a fragrance with like powder and musk. And smelled a few fragrances that have kind of done that thing perhaps the musk is more on the top and the powder's on the bottom as a note, but they support each other and create like a roundedness and a body to the fragrance. And I'm not sure if that's what's going on in the composition, but that's what I feel in Portrait of a Lady, and it makes it so easy to wear. And I think it's one reason why people like it so much. So, Jose Soto, hello people. Anybody know when Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male Parfum is going to be available on stores? I don't know if where it's available retail and physical stores, but I do know that some people are able to get it online. Again, some of these super big fragrance reviewers, I don't know if they got pre-releases or pre-orders or something like that, but there are some people who are starting to get them. But if you really want it and you really don't want to wait, go, keep your eye on Macy's.com or maybe some of these other websites. You might be able to find it before it hits the stores if you're really interested in it. It looks fine. I am excited to try it, but y'all know that I've never been a super duper big fan of Jean Paul Gaultier of the DNA. It is a good DNA. I still really do respect and suggest, sometimes the Eau Fresh versions, whether it be Popeye or Superman or just the regular Eau Fresh. And I think they have another bottle that goes by a different name, but they're all essentially Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male Eau Fresh. But that still is a really good fragrance. A little bit light. It could be a better performer, but solid smelling. Very likable juice. So, anyways, Fragrance Anatomy says, "Have you tried Issey Miyake Fusion?" I have not. I think isn't that a new release? I did see some people talking about it, but no. Some of these big fragrance reviewers have a lot of money and get a lot of ad revenue. They can buy a lot of fragrances just from ad revenue and then either sell them off, used, barely used, or give them away to friends. Or I don't know what they do with all these fragrances. Maybe some of these guys keep all their fragrances. But I'm not big enough. If y'all want to help me, maybe one day. I don't think that'll happen based on what I've seen on YouTube. But I can't afford to, buy even the really popular big new releases. Even if it's, 20 big designer releases, 20, designer fragrance releases, blind them pre-order, blind buying them, that could cost over $1,500 plus tax. You're probably getting close to, $2,000, and I don't have that kind of money just to play around, with YouTube. If I have to, lose money, besides if I'm doing it, for views and trying to make back almost like an investment, I really don't want to play that game, and I'm definitely not. I really can't do that. So to feed the channel, so maybe one day I can do that, playing around with all these new releases. But I y'all know that I can't. So maybe one day. But let's see. How do you say that? I don't know how to say it. Violates. Have you tried Cool Water Intense? Just picked up a bottle that's coming in the mail. I haven't smelled it yet, but I have my eye on it. I would like to get that one. I have I actually was really tempted by that one, but I saw the Cool Water, the Coolest Edition, and I found a really good deal on it on eBay. I got it for like $30 shipped to my door, and it's not a normal 3.4 ounce bottle. It's a 6.7, so it's double the size, and I got it for like $30 shipped to my door, and it's an anniversary edition. I looked at the notes, and that's really the reason I bought it, even though it was a really good deal, a fantastic value for money, and it's a limited edition, which might pique some people's interest. I looked at the notes, and it actually smells a little bit along the lines of something like Pacific Rock Moss. So if you like Pacific Rock Moss, and if you would like kind of like a Cool Water fusion with Pacific Rock Moss, for a good price, it's still a really underrepresented fragrance. It's not hyped. People really don't push up the prices of Davidoff Cool Water, even if it's like a 2011 limited edition release. I think the Coolest Edition was something like that. It is a corny name. It is kind of funny, but it has like a blue kind of metallic bottle, and it actually is really nice looking. So you might want to check that one out. But I'll get my nose on that Cool Water Intense. I've heard it's more modern. I've heard it's more mass appealing. I've heard pretty good things about it. I've also heard a few people who are kind of lukewarm, but for the most part, pretty positive. And I do like this. I do like the Cool Water smell, so I'm optimistic. No Note says, yeah, I'm actually thinking POAL is officially marketed as unisex, but stores have it in the women's section here. But the more I wear it, I find it leans masculine in the dry down. Okay, yeah, I could see that. It's definitely, I think that ladies can pull it off. Maybe, guys are more comfortable, sorry, wearing it. I would like to see some ladies' opinions on that fragrance, Portrait of a Lady. I would like to see more ladies' opinions. If anybody wants to do a video, some of these guys who have ladies on their channels, please have your lady give us an opinion on Portrait of a Lady. I would like to see if they would like to wear it for themselves or if they would like it more on a man. So that's an interesting topic. So Fragrance Anatomy says I think it's sorry guys in Sephora. Sephora, you say? Yeah, Sephora gets things pretty early, don't they? Do they get it? Do they get their fragrances earlier than Macy's? I'd have to check that out. I really don't know. Jose Soto says, "Thank you. You're absolutely welcome. Happy to help you, Jose. I'm absolutely here to help you. That's what this is all about. We help each other. We're like a family here. So thank you so much, my friends." Led Zepp says, "Ever tried? How do you say that? Perli de la Lique. I actually have not tried that one. I do like La Lique fragrances. I really respect La Lique Pour Homme. Y'all probably remember that I was extremely positive about that fragrance for about 20 bucks. I still stand by that. You can get a beautiful aromatic fougere fragrance that it retails. They sell it in stores for about 100, and you can get it for about 20. So the quality is outstanding. It's fresh. It's crisp. It smells like a boss. So if you want to smell like the boss man and you want to smell really, really clean and a little bit sophisticated for 20 bucks, and you're a fougere lover, you like things like Eau Sauvage, you got to do yourself a favor and try that Lalique Pour Homme. It's the one with the lion's head, not the horse head. The horse head is equus, and it's a whole different story. It's a whole different game. That one smells like a cowboy barn and a leather, and has this interesting, also kind of soapy, dry, powdery quality to it. So that's a whole different beast. But no notes says gotta run. I probably should go soon too. We've been on here for about an hour, but we'll see how long we're on here for. But thanks for popping in, my friend. You're an awesome guy. Thanks for being a fellow fragrance enthusiast with us, and you're an awesome guy too. So, Ben, to the next one. Absolutely, make the best of it. We'll see you next time, everybody. Let's see here. Jose Soto, thumbs up. Hey, my friend, happy to support you. Stephanie's in the house. Stephanie Dimon says, I just smelled it in Nordstrom. Fantastic. You're exactly what we needed, Stephanie. And it wasn't for me. I wouldn't find it offensive on a man, but I wouldn't get my engines running. It wouldn't get you going, huh? It wouldn't get you all hot and bothered, huh? But it's still a nice smell, isn't it? What kind of situation do you figure somebody would wear it for? What kind of person do you think wears Portrait of a Lady? I do think it's a fine fragrance, and I do respect it. But just like Andy Towers' Law, a Desert Marocain, which I really do respect that fragrance, but I've never felt, and I don't know. I'm not criticizing it, but I don't know if I would say it's a personal masterpiece. I don't know if I would buy it. It's a fine fragrance. It's very well done. But I don't, and it's not a bad value. You're actually getting a pretty good value for your money. But that fragrance and some of these other popular ones, I don't know. I don't know if I would wear it or especially buy it. And some of them that are really popular, y'all know, like my opinions on Oud for Greatness. It's like Oud for Greatness ain't worth nothing to me. So or the Labo 33. You reminded me of the Labo right there. Santal 33 ain't worth nothing to me. The Labo Citron 28. I don't think I've tried the Citron 28. I've tried the Bergamot 22. Is it like a lemon fragrance? A lot of them that I've tried are very molecule-like. They're not unpleasantly synthetic, but they are noticeably, they do have that synthetic quality. They're not unpleasant or disgusting, but they are not very natural. They're not complex. There's not a lot of density or richness or anything going on that way. So I would like to try more from the house, but I've tried a number of them, and I just can't speak highly of Le Labo for me personally so far. So Mr. Burberry Element, I think I've seen those bottles. They kind of have an interesting bottle, don't they? I'm trying to remember. I don't really remember much of that Mr. Burberry Element. Is it any good? The opinions I've heard most about Mr. Burberry fragrances is that they're fine. They might actually smell a little bit classier and perhaps a little bit higher quality than some fragrances. Like they might even maybe even give Prada a run for their money, but they don't last very long. And that's probably the biggest weakness of them. I remember smelling, what was it? I might be mixing brands up now, but I think it was Ice. Is that the same house? I might be mixing things up now. I remember the bottle though. Y'all correct me, please help me. But anyways, it was great. It smells awesome lemonade smelling fragrance, but it just didn't last very long. So, anyways, guys, we got kind of to the back of the comments. Stephanie, if you're still here, what fragrances do you like smelling on a man? We can change this conversation around a little bit, and perhaps give a little bit of advice to the guys who watch my channel. And again, some of the younger guys that especially watch my channel might not think I'm trendy enough. So I do think I have a very good idea what the ladies like. I have had good experiences and tested a lot of my fragrances, but again, some of them are a little bit daring. Some of them perhaps suit my personality. I can pull off sweet, smoky fragrances with my personality. I guess acting mysterious, and I like some of the gourmands, and those fragrances really work for me. I'd be really interested. We're always interested to see what a lady's perspective is. Always interested. So, I love spice and a bit of sweet and smoke. Exactly. That's kind of what I was trying to pick your brain on. That I've had really good experiences with fragrances that smell a little bit smoky. And when I say a little bit smoky, I'm not saying birch tar fragrances. I'm not saying the house is on fire fragrances. I'm saying fragrances that have a little bit of an interesting twang to the sweetness, and something that really is a little bit different. And kind of has that like little turn your head factor. It's like there's something different about that sweetness, and kind of makes somebody think about it. And I do like the spice and the sweet exactly. That's why cardamom, fragrances, and whether it be lavender or rose, those kinds of fragrances with cardamom do so well. Declaration en Soir Intense discontinued. It's sold out, and I used to talk about that fragrance and recommend it to every single guy I could. And that one is a beautiful, deep, rich, smooth, sophisticated cardamom fragrance. Also, that kind of goes in line. I've highly recommended Santal Majusculin from Serge Lutens for you guys. It's a dry, bitter chocolate or cocoa powder fragrance with a beautiful, beautiful, heart of a fragrance with a rose. There's perhaps a tiny bit of spice nuances to it, and then there's some a little bit of like a modern sandalwood in the dry down. Santal Majusculin is beautiful stuff. Chergui, y'all know from Serge Lutens, you can't go wrong with that. But I'm trying to think of some other ones. Givenchy Play Intense always did good. I actually did end up selling that bottle, but it did really well. My Mugler's Pure Tonka has always done really well. My Wonder Oud, if it's in the dry down, earlier on it can be a little bit aggressive, but in the dry down, my Wonder Oud by Comme des Garçons actually does a lot better than I thought it would. So, but let's get back to some of the comments. But thank you, Stephanie, for helping us. Have you smelled any Rosendo Matau? I don't think I have. I need to look more into that house. That name sounds very familiar. I might have, but nothing comes to mind, so I'm drawing a blank. I love when a man smells good enough to snuggle. Exactly, and that's why you want a fragrance that isn't too beast mode. A lot of guys go for beast mode fragrances. That'll get you noticed. That might get you get a lady's number. That might draw a lady's attention, perhaps if you're a younger man at a party. But if you're actually going to be close to somebody, if you're going to seal the deal, or maybe you're just going to have a relationship and be close to your lady, you actually want something that's a little bit closer to the skin. I'm not saying it has to be a skin scent, guys. I'm saying it does need to be an average projector. It does need to be perhaps a little bit more sophisticated. And if they're going to get close to it, you probably want something higher quality. If it's noticeably synthetic, I think that they'll be able to notice. And also some advice is as well, if you are going into that situation, spray as little as possible can get you by. When somebody's very close to you, a little fragrance goes a very long way. You don't need 10 sprays on when you know you're going to do a Netflix and chill, and you know that you're going to be close to somebody. 1 or 2 sprays at most, especially if it's a potent fragrance. You might want to do 1 spray. And also avoid the neck, because you probably want them close to your neck. And you don't want to taste or have anything like that going on with a fragrance. So, Fragrance Anatomy says Replica Coffee Break by Maison Margiela. That one's really nice. I have heard it's kind of light. There's a number of coffees that I'm tempted by. That one does tempt me. But I've kind of gotten into the attitude that I've smelled so many things, and I've kind of narrowed it down. There's always an allure to try the next sample, and risk something, perhaps even blind buying a full size bottle of the mystique of something interesting. But after you've smelled so many things and you've really chosen the best out of a lot of fragrances you've already smelled, like I've smelled a number of coffees, and there's two of them that I really want. I want the Ristretto Intense Cafe from Montal, and I really want Boissimo from Solane Hilde, which is a Lucky Scent fragrance exclusive. So those two are on my radar. I do want to try the coffee break, but guys, that is those are two fragrances I gotta have. And guys, get that Boissimo. That'd be a snuggle fragrance for sure. You'd smell like Italian bistro. Tell us, Stephanie, do you what would you how would you react to me or some guy that you like, smelling like an Italian bistro and some Italian coffee on the side, huh? That's some. I'm crazy about it. I love it. A replica coffee break. I read that. Also love leather and sweet tobacco. Well, You came to the right place. I don't know how you found me through the interwebs, but I love leather and I love tobacco and I love my sweet gourmands. So, you found the right kind of guy who likes those types of fragrances, Stephanie. So you came to the right place. So we got to make that happen. Wilhelm Parfumerie, a Moon Carnival. I haven't tried that one, but that sounds fantastical. Sounds really nice. I got to get my nose on that one. Moon Carnival, huh? What is that one all about? I do like fragrances that tend to mention the moon. They usually have some kind of unique, fresh, powdery quality about them. Sometimes they have like lime or some tea or something kind of being playing around with those powdery notes, and it's quite nice. So, Polo Red Pride Edition and Ralph Pride Edition. I haven't tried those. Would you say that one is more similar to which Polo Red flanker is that the most similar to? Would you say that's similar to perhaps Polo Red, the regular Polo Red, the Polo Red Intense, and there's like I think there's a different flanker. There's like a Parfum. I think there's three of them but there's a lot of limited edition and ones that are kind of rebottles. So got to help us out. But I actually didn't know those existed. Are those just repackages, special editions, or are those different fragrance anatomy? I really don't know. I do like Polo Red. I should have stayed up to date. Y'all know that one of my first fragrances I ever bought was the original Polo Red. But as y'all know, that's one of the best examples of a fragrance house giving you all the quality and all the beautiful fragrance notes at the top. After the top notes go away, that fragrance doesn't have very good longevity and the fragrance kind of falls apart. But the opening is gorgeous. When you spray that fragrance on a tester strip when you're thinking about buying it or on your skin, it's going to smell gorgeous and you're going to be blown away by the smell. But that fragrance doesn't really smell that way throughout the day. If Polo Red did smell like that throughout the day, like the opening, I think that they'd have some magic right there. So Stephanie Deming says coffee, yes please. We'll serve it up to you right in the morning, and we'll have brunch because that seems like what the trendy people are into these days, huh? So Fragrance Anatomy says, I think it's just one note difference. Okay, I'll have to see what it's all about. Maybe that one note difference will make it spectacular. So I do know that one of the Polo Reds, it might be the Intense, does have some coffee added. I've been really tempted to blind buy it. I've done it almost a couple times. You can find them at a good price. Full-size bottle, sealed, for like 70 odd bucks. They've never gone very cheap. I don't know why. But a lot of the Polos, especially maybe the ones that are a little bit more recent, never went cheap. And I also think people expected the Supreme line to go cheap, but the Supreme line was, I don't know if I want to say it was niche, but it actually was a step up from the normal quality. Those fragrances were actually retailing in stores for like 120, 140 bucks for the Supreme line, the Supreme Leather, the Supreme Cashmere, and the Supreme Oud. I haven't tried the Cashmere. I've always wanted to. Cannabis always scares me away. The Supreme Oud, I thought it was kind of boring. But it is a good entry-level oud. Perhaps if you like things like Royal Oud by Creed, and you want something that maybe had a little bit of a darker aspect, perhaps it could be good for the money. But I think the leather was the best from that collection. It has honey, and it's a soft, sweet, delicate, smooth, leather honey fragrance. And I know that you would love that one too, Stephanie. It's a good stuff. Fragrance Anatomy says, I think it's just one note. Oh, I read that already. So any more comments? Any more thoughts? Y'all made this kind of fun. Even though there's 8 people here, this was a lot of fun. We're keeping it going. Is there any more thoughts, any more feelings, or do y'all want to kind of wrap this up? I know that it gets late. I know that y'all might have places to go and things to do. It's a Friday night after all. But if y'all don't, I do want to say thank y'all. I'm not going to rush off exactly real quick, but I do want to say thank y'all. I do want to thank y'all, if I can speak, to all of you wonderful fragrance people. Y'all are so awesome, and this is a lot of fun. Every time I get on here, I don't know if people are going to jump on. I don't know if people are going to pop up, but y'all somehow always do. So, Signature by Baldessarini. Really good stuff. And the, is it called Ultime or is it called Ultimate? That one's really good stuff as well. So, Signature by Baldessarini. I also do like Private Affair. That one would be really good for a close encounter date. Baldessarini does a really good job. I like the Cologne Concentrate, which is a little bit more of a aromatic, almost a little bit more of an aromatic citrus, but certainly does have some of that patchouli 80s, 90s vibe kind of quality about it. I think it's outstanding quality for the juice. I mean, quality for the money, and the juice is outstanding. So if you're a gentleman out there and you like fresher, lighter, perhaps more aromatic fougères, it's not exactly an oak moss fougere. It's not exactly spicy or leafy green or anything like that. It's more on that citrus aromatic side. But Baldessarini Cologne Concentrate, I have that. I don't think I got to do. I don't think I did my review in the time for summer. It's highly versatile. You could wear it anywhere, but I think a lot of guys perhaps would enjoy it more in the summer. So I do have to run, but I do enjoy the live chat. Same time tomorrow, absolutely 6 p.m. Stephanie, we'll make it a date. So I'll see you tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Have a beautiful one. Have a good one. Take it easy. Enjoy life, and get that beauty sleep, darling. I'll talk to you later. Fragrance Anatomy says woody oriental notes are combined with fougere tonalities for the first time. Baldessarini fragrance. Pink, pepper, cypress, and bergamot shape the aromatic introduction, denoted by freshness. Is that woody oriental notes are combined? Is that the description? Let's see here. Notes of elegance. Oh, you're giving me the description of Signature. That took me a second. Y'all are going to think I'm slow. But Signature by Baldessarini. Pink pepper, cypress, bergamot, aromatic, denote freshness. I'll have to check that one out. Really good stuff. The Ultime has a little bit more amber to it, I feel. And also is really, really nice stuff. And, Baldessarini does some good stuff. It's really slept on. It's kind of a higher quality. I think it's like a sister company or a brother company to Hugo Boss, but the quality is a little bit better. It's a little bit better composed. Some of them, people might want them to last a little longer. They're not bad on performance, but some of them, perhaps we want them to last longer. And you can find great prices on them. So definitely give Baldessarini a try, guys. I'll see you, Stephanie Dimming. I hope that made you feel special. That's what I'm all about. So Fragrance Anatomy says, of the apple, the impressive heart note of the new fragrance. Baldessarini Signature is composed of Akigala wood, extracted from patchouli oil and full masculine notes with smoky. It's got smokiness? I think you sold me. I think you sold me right there. I'll definitely have to get my note on that one. I do not know how that fragrance escaped my little eye. Signature by Baldessarini. I forget if I've tried that one or not. I'll have to look at the bottle. I might remember if I've tried it or not. I'll look into that tonight. But thanks, Fragrance Anatomy. You're helping me out. I'm here thinking that I'm probably going to help y'all, but we're helping each other out. So I appreciate that. Y'all are awesome. Absolutely wonderful. So anyways, any more thoughts or questions? Let's keep this conversation alive. Let's keep it going if y'all want to. If y'all are busy, that's fine by me. I'll see y'all tomorrow night anyway, 6 p.m. Central, Saturdays as well. And tomorrow will be the last day that I do, again, a lot of indie. Maybe you want to tell your friends. I don't know. Or maybe just be excited, rekindle that, because I'll be talking about a lot more designer, A lot more, of course. Niche that's more well known for at least a little while, and I'll have a better balance. I got a lot of these indie samples in, and I was on a big kick for like half a year with indie, and that's what I really hyper focused on, and that's kind of what my channel was about. So you got to see what my channel authentically was about, and I wasn't really trying to play too much of the algorithm game, and I do see that maybe that's not what everybody wants to see. So, a fragrance family, absolutely, we're a fragrance family here. So, hopefully, y'all look forward to that. I'll have all kinds of beautiful fragrances, flankers. I'll talk about some more affordable fragrances. I know some of y'all aren't with the list, and I'm not gonna. Y'all know that I'm not gonna become a fragrance list reviewer, but I do need to make some of that for you guys because some of y'all do want to know like what's the best of the best for 2020 in different regards. So I'll definitely have to do that for you, wonderful people. So Fragrance Anatomy says a fragrance family. And again, absolutely. Thank y'all for being friends. Thank y'all for being family. Y'all are awesome people. Hopefully, we learned a little bit. Hopefully, we all learned and had a good time, shared a little bit of what we all knew, and just had fun, kicked it back. I'm glad that we were a little bit laid back this evening and we took it easy. So, have a wonderful night, everybody. Cook some amazing food. Y'all know what I say during the weekend. Smell amazing and enjoy life. Even though the world's crazy right now, and there's problems, we can still enjoy our fragrances, and we can make the best of our situations. So I'll see everybody. Have a beautiful one. Stay safe, stay well, stay smelling beautiful, and I'll see you tomorrow night. And come back. I've been putting out a lot of content, and if you haven't watched my content, you got a lot of catching up to do. So I'll see you next time, everybody. Bye.